Hi, this is Billy from Beesotted, the Brentford fanzine, podcast, blog. Thanks for having me on. 5-year plan. Palace fans, how you doing? Welcome back. It's the new season. I know we're excited to get back in the stadium. We were lucky because we had a lot of games at the back end of last season as well, with the playoff semi-final. We were in the stadium for that, and the playoff final as well. We were in the stadium for that. So we're almost like we're experienced in being back in stadium. But I know it's quite new for you guys. So enjoy your first game back at home against Brentford, and I'm really looking forward to it. I've been supporting Brentford for 40 odd years, and I'm not being funny, but this is quite a weird experience for me to say actually that we played our first game in the Premier League, because I have to say that, you know, if you asked me 10 years ago, when we were like 10, 11 years ago, when we were languishing in the bottom division, Division 2, you know, Brentford are going to be playing in the Premier League, you know, in just over a decade's time. I just laugh in your face. So for us to have, you know, have played Arsenal, for us to have walked from our pub, you know, down the road to the stadium, 17,500 crowd, which might sound like it's a small stadium, but when you've got a small, tight stadium which is properly noisy, I tell you something, it's a really, really good feeling. And to see our team walk out to play Arsenal, it was really, I was so proud. I can't say how much I was proud to see that, because I never ever thought it was going to happen, I'll be honest with you. And we got the result that we wanted. I mean, you know, before the match you always have a bit of bravado, don't you? Yeah, Brentford are going to win 1-0 or 2-1 or whatever, but in the back of your mind you're thinking, this is Premier League, you know, this is hard, and this is Arsenal. But for us to have also got the result on Friday night, oh, that was unbelievable. I mean, it was an unbelievable feeling. The atmosphere in the stadium was incredible. You know, the players just reacted to it, and I thought we deserved the result as well. We played hard, we played well, we played Arsenal, you know, at their game to a certain extent. We passed the ball about, but also when we had to go direct a little bit, we did, and Arsenal couldn't handle that. You know, and we learned that from our time in the Championship, when we were playing pretty football, passing the ball around, getting 900 passes a game, and then losing the game 1-0. And we were doing that year in and year out, losing matches and not going up. And so the thought was, actually, tell you what, maybe you might have to flip the script up a bit. So this year we've learned to change it up a little bit and do a little bit of everything, you know. And it seems that it's worked out, but it's only one match, and we know that. You know, we could lose our other 37 games, but you know, I don't want to say I'm happy to be here, but to be fair, I am pretty happy to be here. It's true, Brentford have had to sell a lot of players over the years, and it's been a bit of a strange one for us, I'll be honest with you, because if you can imagine, like I said, about 10 years ago, we were bad, you know, we weren't a great team, you know, and you know, you don't support a team like Brentford if you go for the glamour, like, you know. So I mean, like I said, I've been supporting them for over 40 years, and most of our time we go to the football for the laughs, for going to the game, after the game, going with your mates. It's not really about the football. Like, you know, like I said, 10 years ago or so, we started to get a little bit better, and then Matthew Benham, our owner, started to put some money in. A big hardcore Brentford fan, by the way. You know, he started to put money into the club, and we got better and better, started to play better football. And then when it got to the stage, we got to, you know, Division 1, and we got to the top of Division 1, we got promoted to the Championship. I mean, that was like the best moment ever at that time, because, you know, we thought, hold on a second, we have arrived. The following season, we actually got to the playoffs of the Championship as well, which was just unbelievable. It was almost like we'd just gone on steam and gone up to the next level as well. But we didn't quite get to the final, and we had to play another season in the Championship. But what happened that close season, we sold our players that had done the business, like Andre Gray, okay, who had only been there for a year. We sold him, and we were gutted. All the fans were gutted. What are we doing? What are you selling our best players for? And we couldn't quite get our heads around this system that Brentford had, saying if someone pays the money, we have to sell him on. So we sold him, and the fans weren't happy. But the directors of football, we've got a very good relationship, actually. If you check out Beesotted.com or prideofwest.london, which is our podcast, you know, you can check it out. We've actually got our directors of football who've come down the pub with us a few weeks ago, and they sat down and they did a live podcast with about 60 fans, just talking about what's going on. And they said to us, don't worry, we'll buy a better player. And we thought, nah, what are you talking about? That's nonsense. Nah, there's no way that's going to happen. No way. He's a brilliant player. And then they bought another player which is better. Than we had Scott Hogan, and Scott Hogan went on scoring 30 odd goals as well. And we thought, oh, Scott Hogan, he's the best. Then they sold him, you know, and we're like, no, you can't do that. You can't sell him. They said, don't worry, we'll buy another better player. It just kept going on. By the time it came to sort of like Ollie Watkins, and they said we're going to sell him, we kind of got used to it, and we're kind of relaxed because this whole system that we've got, where the directors of football, they've got they use this analytical process, which is owned by the owner. He's got this whole company, this whole background company thing with like 50, 60 people in this office in North London, and all they do as a job is that they analyse football games and sports games all over the world, you know what I'm saying? So they've got all this information, so they use this to find players that no one has ever heard of or people just don't rate, and we sort of bring them in, scrub them up a little bit, put them out on the pitch, get them better, and then they can either sort of get us promoted, which they did last season, or we sell them on. And it is frustrating because when you keep selling on your players, as a football fan, you want to love your player, you want them to be there forever, especially if they're good. And nowadays, it's really hard to find a player who's probably been at a club for more than 2 or 3 years because they keep moving on. So it is quite difficult for us, but I think it's just part of the process for Brentford, and we've got used to it. We've got used to the fact that players do move on, but the club has some knack for just bringing in players with the money that they get. You buy a player for 500 grand, you sell him for like 8 million, 10 million, 12 million, then they come in and bring in another 4 players. So the squad gets better. So I think as fans, we've sort of calmed down a little bit. We've chilled out and we realise that it seems that the squad's getting better. And we've got a very, very good squad at the moment now. This season, we've got a good squad of players. We've added to that squad of players, and we'll just have to see how we go. I keep saying it. I'm excited. You can't help it being excited. I support a small club like Brentford. I can't help being excited. But listen, we know it's going to be tough out there. We had a good start against Arsenal, but we've got a lot of good teams to play with a lot of good players, and one of them is Crystal Palace. Brian Mbeumo. I love Mbeumo. 2 seasons ago, he played in the BMW, as we called it. The Mbeumo, Watkins and Ben Rama kind of trio up front. And between the 3 of them, they scored 55 goals. They were properly on fire. And Mbeumo was on fire. He was a brilliant player. You could see him causing problems, tricks, taking players on. He's lots of assists, lots of goals. Back end of that season, unfortunately, he got COVID. When he came back, he wasn't quite the same. And then last season, he was there, but he wasn't still quite the same. So he scored goals, but it wasn't quite the same Mbeumo as it was the season before. But this season, he looks like he's back on fire. So Brian Mbeumo, he's a great player. Also, I'd say Christian Norgard is one of my favourite players as well. A creative defensive midfielder, very, very clever player. Also scored his first goal of the season, or first goal for Brentford, actually. First league goal against Arsenal last week. The second goal he scored there. He's a really clever player. He's an intelligent player. Used to be an attacking midfielder, but moved back to CDM. So he's like a CDM with a passing ability, and I really rate him quite highly. But we've got other players we bought, like Frank the Tank Onyeka as well. We've just got from FC Michelin, and also Chris Ayer we just got from Celtic as well, who plays a centre back. So we've got a few players in there that you need to look out for. But obviously, again, I'm going to be excited about them because I'm a Bees fan, and seeing them kind of pit their wits against Premier League opposition is quite exciting for me, because I've got no idea really how they're going to do. I saw how they did against Arsenal, but that may just be a one-off. So it's going to be interesting to see how we do on a regular basis, not on a one-off basis, against these sides. What I would say to you is, obviously, one of the weaknesses is the fact that we don't know this league. We don't really know this league. We haven't played this league. If you said Championship, us as fans and the team and the players and the staff, they'll know it inside out. To be quite honest with you, I haven't watched Match of the Day for about 20 years because I've had no need to watch Match of the Day. I mean, I'm always watching Football on 5 or, the Quest show or whatever else it may be, just watching all like lower league football, because that's what my heart has been for the last, for the last 20, 30 odd years, well, 40 odd years, because I've never been this high. I'm getting a bit of a nosebleed, to be quite honest with you. People targeting Ivan Toney, that could be a problem because obviously they know about him, so very good defenders targeting him. And also the other thing is that we know very much, it's very important. I mean, we did it very well against Arsenal. We need to take our chances. Big time, we need to take our chances when we get them. Last season, the season before, we create a load of chances. When you talk about XG, we take loads and loads and loads of chances. Okay, that's what we did in that division, and we'd actually miss a load of those chances as well. But that's the one fear that maybe I might have, that if Brentford, the old school Brentford, and we miss a lot of chances, that could really cost us. I'm just so glad that football fans are back in the stadium where we belong. We've missed it so much. So I hope you have a great day. Obviously, I hope you don't have a really good day, because I don't want you to beat us, but I hope you have a great day. For me, score prediction, I put a score prediction on our podcast. Like I said, it's prideofwest.london, and I went for a cheeky 1-0 win to Brentford, but it's only because they were trying to up the ante with me. But I'll be honest with you, I'll be happy with a draw. If we can get a 1-1 draw against Palace, a draw away, we've got that win at home, and then it's another point towards actually safety towards the end of the season. So I'm not going to be too greedy. I'm going to go for 1-1 draw, Brentford at Palace. Everybody, enjoy your day. Thanks for inviting me on again, your podcast, and check us out on Beesotted. Thank you.